Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, August 16th. Joining us today, we're going to have our Secretary of Revenue, Dave Hardy, with us and everything, but I'm going to just get right on to it and everything. We just made an incredible announcement, and that was, that the Fidelis company, or new energy company, has selected Mason County. I want to read this to you. Well, let me start right in the beginning. Today, I proudly announce that Fidelis New Energy has selected Mason County for a hydrogen production facility and microgrid. Now, just think about this. They're going to invest $2 billion and employ up to 800 workers when it's fully operational. This will be the largest natural gas user in our state when they're up and running. The power they generate will be used for data centers and make West Virginia the absolutely best place on the East Coast for technology development. I want to again thank their CEO, Dan Shapiro, and the fellow that came with them, that does a lot of incredible work in regard to safety and everything else, Pete Hollis. But there's lots and lots of great stuff happening in Mason County, West Virginia. And I told a story just a few minutes ago about grouse hunting with a great friend in Ashton that lived at Ashton in Mason County, and long time ago. But who would have ever really thought that all this goodness would be coming to Mason County? And we're going to ensure in every way, from the environmental community, that everything is checked and checked and checked, and safety beyond belief, is what we're going to live by. And with all that being said, again, great stuff, innovation in West Virginia, and we're just going to celebrate all these jobs and opportunities that come right to us. On Monday, we signed a bill that I'd sent up, twice over the last 2 years. We can't recruit correctional officers if we don't pay them, in a competitive world. We absolutely know we've got a real dilemma right there. Now with the work of the legislature, we have finally accomplished what, I sent up to the legislature 2 years ago, and then again a year ago. But now we're on our way. I signed a bill on Monday that I proudly signed into law the pay raises for the correctional officers, along with a few other bills that were related to corrections. I also on Monday signed a bill, with our forestry folks, to where they would be able to buy equipment, badly needed equipment. $4 million worth of equipment that could actually save lives. We just recently lost a person in the forestry department, the first one ever. Now we've renamed that area, that building, the Cody Mullins Building. With all that being said, young man. His family was there with us, and we'll miss him, but we won't ever forget him. And we hope and pray that maybe by the addition of this equipment and everything, we'll be able to prevent, a possible disaster such as this in the future. Tomorrow we'll be in Clarksburg, signing a $25 million supplemental appropriation to Pierpont Community and Technical College's Aviation Maintenance Technology Program. Then I will sign, in addition to that, a $2 million supplemental appropriation to the Clarksburg Veterans Nursing Facility. Two things, entirely different in a lot of ways. The $25 million for the aviation program will just make job opportunity upon job opportunity upon job opportunity in West Virginia. The $2 million to the veterans facility and everything is just what we ought to do. It's just as simple as that. I've said it 10 million times, but we owe everything to these people, and we need to step up always and help. So, in addition to that, I am right now going to sign right in front of you right now, House Bill 125. House Bill 125 is an update to the West Virginia Motor Vehicle Property Tax Adjustment Credit. We've got our secretary on with us, and he's going to clarify some more information. But this absolutely now should make the ease of you never having to pay your automobile tax again. Now, what we'll do, we'll have you pay it, and then we'll bring it right back to you. But with all that being said, I'll let our Secretary of Revenue, Dave Hardy, come on now. I'm signing the bill. I'm going to show you that in just 1 second. But here we go. House Bill 125 is done. So, done. Signed. Secretary Hardy, come on and talk to us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Governor. And again, on behalf of the Department of Revenue, we are thrilled with the passage of your bill, which was, of course, known as House Bill 125, which was passed last week in our special session of the legislature. 2024 is going to be a great year for West Virginia taxpayers in that all the property tax credits that have been passed and proposed by the governor this year take effect on January 1st, 2024. So let me take you through each one and explain how each one will work. Right now, many of us as West Virginians, we have in our mailboxes, we have our property tax, personal property tax bill from our counties. And of course, that's the revenue that supports the counties, our volunteer fire departments, our sheriff's departments, and they're very important to the county functioning of our county governments. You have a choice as a West Virginia taxpayer now with the passage of House Bill 125. If you want to pay all of your personal property tax bill, in other words, you just pay the whole thing, as long as you pay it by October 1st, you will qualify for a 50% of that bill will be a credit dollar for dollar against your 2024 state income taxes. So hypothetically, if you have a $500 personal property tax bill and you want to pay that before October 1st, many people like to pay once a year, that half of that bill will be $250, will be a dollar for dollar credit against your 2024 state income taxes. Your other option is that you pay half of your property taxes by October 1st and you pay half of your personal property taxes by April 1st. Either way is acceptable. So you can either pay all your bill now by October 1st, or you can split it in half like many people do and pay by October 1st and pay the second half April 1st. Either way, now that House Bill 125 has been passed, you will get the full benefit of a 50% credit from that bill on your 2024 state income taxes. So how will you get that? When you fill out your state income taxes for 2024, that'll be, of course, in the spring of 25, there will be a line on your state income tax return that allows you to claim that as a credit dollar for dollar against your 2024 taxes. And for the first year alone, 2024, it'll be 50% of your personal property taxes. Going forward, 25, 26, and on, it'll be 100%. So this is the transition year where you get half of your personal property tax credit. When we get to 25 and 26, it's 100%. That'll put $140 million a year back into West Virginians' pockets immediately. And again, if you don't owe income tax, let's say it's spring of 25 and you don't owe an income tax, you will be able to file a form online or by paper that'll allow you to get that rebate anyway. So even if you don't owe tax, you can get a cash rebate either by wire transfer or by paper check. So that we're thrilled with that. Tax is set up. Now we get a lot of questions about the motor vehicle property tax credit, and I would encourage every taxpayer to go to tax.wv.gov. And you'll see that on our screen right now. If you go to that website, tax.wv.gov, you'll see a vehicle on the home screen. It's a big green vehicle. You just click there, and immediately this one-page explanation will come up and will give you all the detail that you need to know about the motor vehicle property tax credit. It tells the type of vehicles that are included, and it's virtually every vehicle: cars and trucks, motorcycles, buses, trailers, even antique vehicles and ATVs are included. It tells you how to file to get this tax credit. And the one thing that I want to emphasize to all of our taxpayers, you must be a timely payer to qualify for this credit. So that means you have to pay your property taxes on your vehicles by October 1st and April 1st. If you do that, you qualify for this credit. The other credits that are available, we have the disabled veteran credit. There are about 10,000 disabled veterans in West Virginia. If you're a disabled veteran, you will have an opportunity to file for a 100% rebate on your real estate taxes, not your personal property taxes, your real estate taxes on your personal residence, your homestead. And you will have the ability to get 100% refund, dollar for dollar credit on your 2024 taxes if you're a disabled veteran. So go ahead and pay your taxes now if you're a disabled veteran, timely pay them, and during 2024 and during the spring of 25, there will be a form made available from tax where you can claim those dollar for dollar back. You'll get 100% rebate if you qualify as a disabled veteran. And to get a disabled veteran designation, you have to be 90% or more disabled as certified by the Veterans Administration. Last but not least, we also are implementing in calendar year 2024 what we call the Small Business Personal Property Tax Credit. And this credit is going to return about $35 million to small business in West Virginia. And the definition of small business would be a business that has an appraised value of personal property of $1 million or less. If you have a small business that has $1 million or less appraised personal property, then you will be eligible, the small business, to get a 50% credit for the taxes that you pay. And again, that one will also take effect in calendar year 2024. So as we head toward the calendar year, the property tax bills are starting to come in. So get educated on these. Go to Tax's website, because if you do these things now and you timely pay now, you will get the benefit of these credits. The other thing that I always want to mention while we're talking about taxes is West Virginians have a 21.25% state income tax reduction already in effect. So that's for this year, calendar year 23. And with that, I will turn it back over to the governor.
Okay, everybody. I guess now we're going to switch channels to just another announcement that I have in regard to an incredible, event that is coming, and it's not very far away. It's going to be the 9th and the 10th, and it's going to be at the summit at the Bethel Reserve, where the Boy Scouts are, or where they have their incredible jamborees and everything right outside of Beckley. This is the National Hunting and Fishing Days celebration, and I urge you like crazy to get your tickets. It's $10 for adults, and kids under the age of 15 get in free. It's just a real opportunity to especially introduce a child, a young person, and everything to the outdoors. I can't tell you, what an absolute advocate of the outdoors that I am, and how much I love and think, of all the great experiences that I've had hunting and fishing. So please take your kids and enjoy this beautiful day and everything. With your purchase, I'm just reading here, you get 5 free food sample tickets and just all kinds of things. There's going to be live music, lots and lots of family-friendly stuff and everything. So take advantage. And now we've got a video from Dr. Marsh on a COVID update, that I promised you we'd do this from time to time, but, if we could show the Dr. Marsh video, please.
Hi, this is Clay Marsh, and it's always wonderful to join the governor and each of you in the press briefs that the governor does. I want to update today, which is August 15th, and I want to update you about what we're learning about the newest variant of COVID-19, which has been called EG.5. And these abbreviations are not that relevant, other than to say it's important to note that the family of COVID that's been the most widely circulating, the XBB family, the EG5 is a descendant of this family. And because it's a descendant of the variant that we have seen the most commonly, it is not more severe if people get infected with it. It doesn't lead to more severe illnesses, but it does, because of a couple of changes in the virus, it does seem to be more evasive. It is able to trick the immune system of people, even who've had vaccines in the past and even who've had COVID in the past. So we are seeing an upswing in the number of people that are being infected. And we've seen an upswing in the late summer, early fall in years past as well. And why that is, nobody really does understand. But it is important to note that this EG5 mutant variant, the newest one, is now the most common form of COVID in the United States. And it's also really important to know that, because the new vaccine, the new COVID vaccine that will be available, it looks like around the middle of September, is a vaccine that really targets the family of COVID variants that the EG5 is a member of. And so it really does appear that this new vaccine will be very, very effective in giving us more protection against this new variant. And that's important because we have seen an increase in the number of cases of COVID-19 across our country, as usual, hitting the bigger population centers of our country first. And we can anticipate that we will see more COVID spread here in West Virginia as well. And in places like New York City, they have seen about a doubling of the number of people in hospitals and even people in intensive care units. But remember, this doubling comes from a much smaller number. So overall, we're still seeing a lot fewer people than we did back in 2021 and in 2022. But we do see an impact of this new variant. And it does suggest to us, again, for those of you who are in ages over 65, over 75, over 85, probably important to be more careful now. And also people that have illnesses or genetic conditions that make you immunosuppressed. In other words, taking chemotherapy right now for cancer, or taking drugs to influence immune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis or Crohn's disease or inflammatory bowel disease. Those medications that are being used can suppress your immune system. And people with abnormal immune systems are at higher risk, as we've known for a long time, of developing more severe consequences if they do get infected with COVID-19, and also can have higher possibilities of developing long COVID. So again, as we've always said, please stay up to date with your vaccines. And remember, we have the vaccine calculator at vaccinate.wv.gov that's available for anybody to go on and see if you're eligible and if you're due for a vaccine. And with the new vaccine coming out in September, it's a good idea, if you can, to get that vaccine, because it should have the most positive benefits for people around this newest variant of COVID-19. And also remember, as you're looking at protecting yourself, if you do get symptoms of a cold or illness, go ahead and test yourself for COVID. And if you test positive and you're in any of those risk groups, then please call your healthcare provider about getting treated with the antiviral medication Paxlovid or other approaches that might be important for you. And that's the reason why it's still important to test yourself, and being up to date with your vaccines and taking Paxlovid if you do develop COVID also reduces the risk of developing long COVID, which are, problems that can happen 2 months after the initial infection with COVID-19. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. I'd also like to remind people during the fall, it's important to consider getting other vaccines, including the flu vaccine, and also now a new RSV vaccine, the respiratory syncytial virus. And the RSV vaccine is particularly important for children and older West Virginian citizens, because RSV can give people a pretty severe illness who are really young or that are older. And the flu vaccine is good for all of us, 18 and over. And also that the flu vaccine and the RSV vaccine and the COVID vaccine all should be taken around the same time period, in that September to October timeframe. It's also really important that more and more research is coming back that shows that children that are up to date with their vaccines are less likely to get infected with COVID-19, are less likely to spread COVID-19 to others. And that's important because even if children don't get as sick as people in these higher risk groups, they can spread COVID-19, and that's important to try to reduce. Lastly, there's new information coming out about long COVID. And importantly, there's been new research that shows that the energy centers of our cells, these components of our cells called mitochondria, may be impacted directly by either COVID-19 or the inflammatory response, our body's defense against COVID-19. And by destroying these energy centers, we make all of the organs in our bodies at risk for not functioning as well. And more research is suggesting that that could be a central reason why people develop the severe fatigue that people feel with long COVID, the heart problems people can get with long COVID, and also perhaps the brain fog that people can get with long COVID. And although there's no absolute treatment, if that is part of the problem, one of the first things that we need to do in order to devise appropriate treatment is understand what's going on. And so this is really an advance. And as we said before, staying up to date with your vaccines, taking Paxlovid if you do develop COVID symptoms, and making sure that you are trying to protect yourself from getting COVID infection are the most important ways that we avoid the immediate consequences of COVID-19 and also the consequences of long COVID. And as the governor always reminds us, we are always better together, running hand in hand and pulling the rope in the same direction. And we know that each of you who are watching this are playing your role in protecting yourself and each other, which is why West Virginia is such an amazing place to live with such amazing people. Thank you so much.
Dr. Marsh, thank you. And let me just tell you this real quick. I've said it over and over and over, but right there was a superstar. I mean, that's all there is to it. He still is. He continues to help so many people in West Virginia. It's unbelievable. He's been an incredible resource of mine and an ally, and will be a treasured friend until I die. Absolutely, with all in me, I can never thank him enough. And he just keeps on doing fabulous work for all this great state and this nation and the world altogether. So again, thank you, Dr. Marsh. Clay, I love you with all my soul. You're just a great, great, great man, and it's been a real pleasure flying with you. But that's all I got right now.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's go to questions now from Eric Miner with WBOY.
Governor, good to see you again. Hope you're feeling well. My question is about a really specific fire department in our viewing area. The Star City Volunteer Fire Department is about $600,000 in debt and in danger of closing. Is this the sort of need that the legislative work that was done during the special session is aimed at helping? Is there any sort of additional relief available for this volunteer fire department?
Eric, I'm having trouble understanding the question and everything because it's just muffled a little bit. But you know, if I got it correctly, Eric, you know, if you're asking me, you know, if there's a, you know, if maybe I could have our Department of Homeland Security reach out to this fire department, and the volunteer fire department, I guess, is in Morgantown, and you know, I'll do that and gladly do it immediately, and we'll get to the bottom of it and try to help and do anything we possibly can.
All right, thank you, Eric. Next, we'll go to Jess Mancini with Ogden Newspapers.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't have it. I had it muted. Governor, Dr. Marsh touched upon this, and this is basically my question: is there's been an increase nationally of hospitalizations due to COVID, about 12 to 14% over the last month or so. But do you have any numbers specific to for West Virginia by any chance? Have you been seeing an increase in hospitalizations in this state? Thank you.
Well, Jeff, I wish I could, you know, was the guy to give you more answers on that and everything. I'll get them for you and everything, but I can tell you, you're splitting the bullseye. I mean, we are beginning to see the COVID cases nationally without any question rise. You know, next week I'll bring on our state health officer and everything, and they can give you more of an update. Dr. Christensen is a superstar, and I'll have him on. And but with all that being said, the bottom line is, you know, you're right. You're exactly right. And the COVID cases are growing, and we're going to have to, you know, and I hate to say it, but I've said it many, many times, we're going to have to find ways to just live with COVID. It's probably going to be here forever, you know, and we're just going to have to live with it and everything. I don't think we need to be, you know, on high alert. I don't think we need to be shutting things down. We need to be celebrating things like, you know, that are happening right now in West Virginia, our state fair. Ball games are getting ready to happen. Football's getting ready to happen. Absolutely, you know, our marching bands will be working, and they're doing that right now. You know, soccer season and volleyball season is right upon us, cross country as well, and I may miss some, but with all that being said, you know, we don't need to be, you know, alarming folks and everything. We need to be educating them, and absolutely we need to continue to stay right on top of it, and we will. We will, and we'll, like I said, we'll bring Matt on next week, and he can maybe give us some more details. But appreciate your question.
All right, thanks, Jess. Next to Mark Curtis with Next Star Media.
Governor, good afternoon. I was at the Fidelis briefing this morning at 10:30. Wow, you probably addressed this. I missed the top of the briefing at noon, but. What does this mean to West Virginia? Why does this keep happening? And where are we going to get the workers? I mean, 800 jobs is exciting, but we've got all these other companies. But this, how big of a deal is this for West Virginia? And do you anticipate this is just going to keep on happening?
Mark, it's a big deal. And, you know, if you go back to Neil Diamond saying they're coming to America, you know, and I don't know that was the name of the song, but, you know, absolutely, with all in us, they've got to be coming to West Virginia. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, they will come. They'll follow the great jobs. They'll follow the opportunities. And when they discover over and over and over, and they're doing that right now, when they discover the seasons and the people and absolutely the low crime and just the goodness that we're all about in West Virginia, pristine air, pristine waters, it goes on and on. within a rock's throw of 2/3 of the population of the country. Absolutely, they will come. And the workers absolutely will, these companies will fill the jobs, and there's no question in my mind about that at all. Now, will it continue to happen? I hope absolutely and pray that it will continue to happen. I go back to something that I said over at the press announcement, but, our families got gutted in West Virginia. They got torn apart because our kids had to go to the Charlottes and Atlantas and Denvers and wherever to find a job. Our families got torn all apart. It's so simple to me when, if we think about Aunt Edith, she just wanted to have a picnic this coming Sunday. And with all that being said, she just wanted to have a gathering of her kids and see her grandchildren. And she couldn't do it in years past. The reason she couldn't do it is because they were dispersed all over the country. Now we're bringing them together. Now there's lots and lots of advantages that we have in West Virginia as people absolutely are discovering us. I named it just a few in the EDA meeting, but there's things that are written into the law that says, it's things about, helping displaced coal miners. Well, we have coal miners in West Virginia. We want to help our coal miners and be proud of our coal miners every day. I said also in the meeting and everything that absolutely with all in us, we're a natural resource state, and that's coal and oil and gas, but it's timber and water and on and on and on. We need to be proud of who we are. You're not going to get me to be any way but proud of the fact that, our coal miners get up every day, they get their dinner buckets and off they go. Right now, right this minute, there's all kinds of coal miners that are 7,000 plus feet underground, and they're in 40-inch high coal, and they can't even hardly sit up and absolutely cannot possibly stand up. And they're there all day for us, in a very, very difficult and risky environment. With all that being said, you're not going to get Jim Justice to stand any way except for all of our gas workers and coal miners and all those that make things happen every day in West Virginia. I'm proud of our fossil fuels, and I'm not ever going to change that. There's no possibility. But now this is a way to perpetuate even into a new dimension of more clean, better, but still our fossil fuels being used, and more and more and more opportunities with the innovation of stuff that will make things only better and better and better. Whether they be greenhouses or whatever it may be, from the carbon capture. West Virginia now becomes the cutting edge. And so, no, Mark, it's great. To me, it is absolutely great. And we'll go slow, and we'll absolutely walk before we run, and we'll make sure to cross every T and dot every I, that every single thing about our environment, our water, anything and everything that we are doing is super safe, because that's how it's got to be. We're not going to lose any part of who we are in West Virginia.
All right, thanks, Mark. Next to John Shaver with WV News.
Good afternoon, Governor. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you've signed this bill yet, but I was hoping to speak briefly about the $45 million going to Marshall for their cybersecurity program. Why is that such a big deal, not just for Marshall, but for the state as a whole as we dive into this tech industry? Thanks.
Well, I'll be signing it next week. We had a little disruption and everything, that I had, with this back deal and all that. And so, I got my back injected, and it was probably, and they said I couldn't drive for 24 hours, and, that was probably smart. and everything. And so we had to change the schedule around a little bit. And now, making that all fit with, President Brad Smith and everything, we want to be sure that Brad's there. But, this is going to be, an incredible facility and everything. And, the folks at Marshall on cybersecurity are doing great work right now. And this is just going to make things better and better and better. And, they're building, they're building basically a new program to train students in this advanced field. And it's just going to bring more and more and more goodness to West Virginia, and more goodness to Huntington and Marshall University. They're doing great work. Everybody concurs. Everybody's on board. I thank the legislature, and it'll be a proud day for me. I'm a Marshall graduate, Kathy, my wife, and daughter Jill. So, we're really proud. So it's a go herd moment, and that's good stuff.
All right, thanks, John. Governor, back to you.
Okay, that's all I've got. And, let me just check real quick here. Again, this Fidelis thing, if all works and works well with the Fidelis investment and everything, what you can absolutely bank on is a mushrooming effect, that absolutely there'll be more and more and more development, that will follow the Fidelis announcement. The same thing is happening right now with Nucor. It's, it's just good stuff. Really, really proud to, sign the corrections bill. A real, sentimental moment, in regard to the forestry stuff with the family of Cody Mullins and everything. Just a tragedy. We're losing, such a young man. Going to be happy to be at Pierpont Community and Technical College and everything in Clarksburg in signing this aviation bill. I love the fact that we're continuing to support our veterans. Good stuff to clarify the stuff on our property tax on our vehicles, and so nevertheless, I encourage you. Like I said, I encourage you get to the bus, the Bechtel Summit and everything, and see this incredible hunting and fishing show. You'll really enjoy. But that's all I've got for right now. Thank you so much. Let's just keep doing it.